This is a 49-page legal document. It's real. It was filed on December 12th, 2025 in District Court of Lancaster County, Nebraska. It involves Scott Frost, a plaintiff, and he's filing a complaint for damages against the Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska. And after reading a bunch of news articles, I'm still a little confused about what's going on. So I'm inviting you on a journey as I break this down in Claude. There's a lot of hype about AI, but here is a great use case: complex legal filings and understanding in plain English what the heck is going on. Let's get rolling. All right, so the first thing I want to do is create a project in Claude. And we're going to call this the Scott Frost lawsuit. And we're just going to say, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to understand the legal filing of Scott Frost versus the University of Nebraska. Let's create that project. So let's add that legal filing to the project. So let's upload. So I'm going to upload it. Okay, so the file is uploaded, the 49-page document. If you want to follow along, I'll put a link to the document in the description. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get a breakdown of this document. We're going to get a summary of each section. We're going to get a timeline of key events in the complaint. We're going to get all the individuals listed and entities involved, and a simple explanation of the core dispute. What's being argued, what does each side want, and what are their main points of disagreements. We have a breakdown of the exhibits. So we have a timeline from the time he signed this contract to the time he was fired, all the way to the lawsuit that was filed. Here are the parties mentioned. Here's the core dispute in plain English. At its heart, this is a dispute over roughly $5 million in severance payments and who is right about what the contract says. Here's what each side wants. Here's what Frost wants. Here are the main points of disagreement. But I'm still curious about the payments. What was received, what wasn't, and when did the tax problem happen? So I'm going to ask Claude to create a payment matrix, and I want 4 columns: year, payment status, whether there is a tax issue associated with that year, and any notes, any relevant context. So from this complaint and the information that I fed Claude, I want to understand the legal arguments, the clear breakdown of the strongest arguments for Scott Frost, the strongest arguments for University of Nebraska. So for each side, summarize their core argument in plain English. Identify the key supporting facts and contract provisions. Highlight any weaknesses or risks in their position. Finally, I want to know what the likely outcome is. Give me a couple scenarios, how this might play out. And then my favorite prompt: keep all explanations clear, structured, and easy to understand for a non-lawyer. Okay, so we have our payment matrix here. So here we have the payment matrix for 2022. Did he receive payment? Yes. Did a tax issue happen? Yes. 2023. Was payment received? Yes, but partial and not pre-reported. 2024, was payment received? Yes, it was received. And in 2025 and 2026, payment was in dispute. And this is the core of the lawsuit. So now we have a payment matrix so we can understand what is in dispute and by year. So here we go. We have the core legal arguments for Scott Frost, the key supporting facts, the weaknesses and risks. He does have some risk in it. You have the University of Nebraska's case. You have the weaknesses in that position as well. So what's the most likely outcome? It's saying that Scott Frost has a pretty strong legal position. So here we have the most likely scenarios. 50 to 60% probability Claude is giving for a settlement, which is most lawsuits, right? It's saying a 30% chance that this goes to trial and Frost wins. 15% chance of a partial win for Scott Frost and a reduced award. And then scenario 4, number 5, the university wins. And here are the key factors that will most influence the outcome. So Claude has taken this complex legal document, these multiple articles that I've read that I quite don't understand, and has put in plain English what this is really about and who's likely to win, who has the stronger legal arguments. All right, and because I'm such a nerd for Microsoft Word, I'm going to ask Claude finally to put all this information in a Word document. All right, so the Word document is ready, and hey, let's download it. All right, so we have our legal analysis that we created in Claude in a Word document. We have, this is the part I love, the payment matrix right here. We have a timeline of key events, and we have individuals and entities involved. All right, we have legal arguments in Scott Frost's case. We have University of Nebraska's case, weaknesses as well. We have likely outcomes of this, and we have the key factors that will influence the outcome. So this is a 49-page legal document that we, in about 10 to 15 minutes, broke down the timeline of key events. I read many online articles about this, really wondering what is the core of this case and what are the strengths and weaknesses for both sides. I wasn't getting the legal analysis that I wanted. If you really want to understand things, I love breaking things down in a timeline manner, and then with the payment matrix, understand what was received, what wasn't, and then also understand what is under dispute. So with all the hype around AI and all the chatter about taking our jobs or all this, it's great to know there's use cases that can democratize information that normally would not be available to laymen like you and I. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy it, hit like and subscribe. Subscribe to Jeff on Tech. I have more AI workflow use cases for your personal life and for your workflows, and I'll see you around.